Morning, everybody. 8:10 a.m. It's June 11th. Welcome to my channel. Now, to start off with that Knicks game. Woo! Unbelievable. Down 29. I was like, man, they're really going to go down. They're really going to even this series up 2-2. And they came back and, wow, amazing. Amazing. It's crazy. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe it. New York's on fire. But this market's on fire as well. Yesterday, very volatile. Very volatile. I took a stab at one short, just got stopped out by a couple points, and then still saw my plan pre-market come to fruition, shorted again, then had a nice 2R or 200% winner. All right, so up the day, and can't complain. This market's wild. All right, now there was a lot of bombing going on in the Middle East, but they're still talking. So crude jumped above $93 a barrel, and then cause talks are still resuming, it took a little back seat for a sec. So very interesting there. Okay. Now, just to be clear with everybody, the inverse correlation is not really there anymore with crude. Crude's not coupled, it's decoupled now. So that's not really something you have to pay too much attention to. You could pay attention to it, but it's not an inverse correlated asset anymore, as it was literally a one-to-one negative correlation previously. Okay. Now, Oracle had earnings, and they are down 8.82% this morning. Okay. I think it's basically a lot of debt. People don't like that. All right. What else is going on this morning? Bitcoin getting a little love today. Okay. And like I said yesterday, I think we're in a sell the pop regime, which was evident yesterday. Market was pretty strong in the beginning of the day. In the beginning of the day. And then what happened? We dropped off, and we even went lower after the market closed because of all this Middle East tension, but now since recovered. Okay. So not an easy market to trade, but you have to adjust. Okay, you have to adjust. Now we have the CPI came out and it's hot. It was hot 4.2 yesterday. Okay, that continues to rise. Today we have PPI. Now last time we had PPI, it was super hot than expected. Super. All right. Today, headline PPI, we're looking at 6.4. 6.4, previous 6. Core, you're looking at 5.4, previous 5.2. So let's see. Also, initial jobless claims, they haven't really moved market at all lately. Okay. You do have a 30-year bond auction at 1 p.m. All right. Let's get into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steve Gonzalez. Use market profile and volume profile to find structure in the markets. Along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, the previous day. That is my edge. That's where I come up with game plans. Now, once the market opens up, I use my market internals. Okay, market internals to see where money flows are going off the open, along with my weekly expected move indicator, get for free on my Discord, along with my gamma flip points that you can get for free on my Discord. All right, throw a little ICT, smart money in there, and that's my own proprietary trading system. Hence confluence, right? I look for a lot of confluence. Now, hopefully you join me every morning. I do this, give you the market story, market news, economic calendar, technical analysis, and I always give you the long and short trade scenarios in the NASDAQ and the ES futures, which worked out yesterday. Okay. Now, if you want more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Now, just so you know, all right, just so you know very quickly, if you want to see my receipts, you can see every day what I call my trades. Okay. You can see it clear as day. You can see my weekly performance recaps with my total returns each week. It's all there. How many scenarios are correct? Okay. I do it pre-market, and then you have my pre-market scenarios here every day What did I say yesterday in that NASDAQ? I used it to short the ES. I said push into supply, right? And I also said get resistance at the most traded price of the month, 29235. It's exactly what happened. All right, moving on. Let's get into those futures watch list because we're in a crazy market. All right. All right. Bitcoin up 1.89%. Ethereum up 1.72. Russell up 1.28. Nasdaq up 1.18. Dow is up 0.74. ES up 0.71. 30-year bonds being bought. 10 yields lower. Dollar up 0.11. 10-year yield down 0.42%. Gold down 0.83. Crude's down 1%. Silver down 1.5. VIX down 6.62. We're at 20 VIX. We're at 20 VIX, folks. All right, Mag 7 Plus here. Coinbase, the Bitcoin proxy is getting love, up 2.74%. AMD up 2.48. Tesla's up 1.69. Caterpillar up 1.67. Nvidia up 1.29. GE up 1%. All right, now there is no lagging here, folks. Now, Apple, which kills me because I was short and would have been pretty much max. I would have got my max credit on that spread, which sucks. But it hit its expected move to the downside, and it's just chilling there. Not a surprise to me. That's how that works. Okay. It's probably going to hang out, just like Netflix did when it hit its expected move to the downside last week. All right. Netflix is just chilling. It is chilling and not moving. Okay. Moving on. Top sectors. Micron. So the DRAM ETF's getting love this morning. Memory. Micron up 290. GE Vernova up 2.76. Goldman Sachs Financials up 1.19. Qualcomm the semi up 0.78. That just got destroyed lately. I'm a holder of Qualcomm, and I don't like that. That was up a lot more than that. In the 190s, it was way above the 200s. Who is lagging today? Costco, Walmart, McDonald's, all the safety plays, but not sales. Salesforce down 0.60. And there's your Oracle falling. Continuing to fall, down 9.33% now. Woo. All right, moving on. Sectors. Semiconductors up 2.5%. Technology up 1.21. Our market's going to move up because of that. Industrials up. Oh, that just changed from 1% in front of my eyes to 0.81. Discretionary at your Tesla, Amazon, Home Depot. Basic materials. That might be a position to look into. Maybe the NEM mining stock because that's been getting decimated lately. Okay. Staples is your laggard. Staples is your laggard. Now, yesterday had an inside day. Inside day yesterday. All right. Now, moving on to economic calendar. We do have data coming at 8:30. Boom. There we are. Let's see here. All right. PPI, like I just told you before. Core, 5.4 expected. 5.2 previously. We're expecting a 0.2 increase. All right. Headline PPI, 6.4. Last time it was 6. We're expecting a 0.40 increase. Yesterday, remember, both expectations came in line with expectations. I don't know, I said that a little weird, but came in line with expectations, okay? Then we have that 30-year bond auction. Sometimes that does move markets at 1 p.m., so just be aware of that, okay? Moving on to Trump. I don't really see anything right now that I can see, but of course he can post, he can talk, whatever, all right? Financial juice. Bunch of red stuff yesterday from Trump saying now they're going to pay, all this stuff, all right? I don't see anything in here that's to talk to here. You can see Wall Street futures rise in Middle East tensions, Oracle earnings. Oracle basically has a lot of debt. All right. Now, moving on to a little more news here. Oracle slides its hefty AI spending. Debt plans spook investors. Anthropic urges U.S. not to block state AI laws without setting federal standards. OpenAI says Chinese propaganda is being deployed to foment dissent over tariffs. Data centers. Target investors and reject proposal for independent board chair. Some U.S. employers to drop coverage of GLP-1. Obesity drugs in 2027 as use increases. Interesting. Okay. Wall Street futures rose as investors sought bargains in beaten down technology stocks. While signs of progress in U.S.-Iran peace talks also supported sentiment, the S&P 500 slipped about 4% since hitting a record closing high in early June as investors grapple with stretched technology valuations and concerns about tighter monetary policy amid rising energy prices driven by the Middle East tensions. Okay. We just talked about the producer price index. Okay. Now, let's see who else. I don't see if I see moving. We already talked about Oracle. Oracle, let's see if they get a target. Scotiabank cuts target price to 241 from 290. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Now, we're going to look at utilities. Utilities is also getting beaten down. All right. When rates go higher, right, utilities usually go down. They are at extreme levels. Okay. Utilities, that's your like NEE, Nextera Energy, your Duke Energy. I'm going to look at those. I got to see how beaten down they are because if we get some kind of decent news and rates get lowered, there probably money's going to flow there. Okay. Also, basic materials here. That's your materials like Sherman-Williams and your metals. That's also getting beaten down. You could see silver, gold taking a beating lately. Okay. It's getting a little oversold here. Okay. Getting a little oversold. Now, let's look at that SPX, bullish percent index. 52 is right in the middle. NDX, we're weaker, right? Technology's been getting hit. Remember I said yesterday it's getting a little oversold, but we have to see. Okay, we have to see. Moving on. Moving on. We're going to go to market internals. Now, market internals, I said this when I was live yesterday in my community. I said they're a little less reliable when it's that volatile. Okay. Stated that right when the market opened in my community. I said, hey, listen, I can't lean on these as much as I usually do when it's this volatile in your negative gamma. Okay, so these were all green. Whoa, news just popped, and I don't know what that is. That's negative. It's negative. Negative just popped. Something negative popped. Hold on, let me check. Or anybody's watching, let me know. Let me see. I'm gonna go to the juice real quick to see if that, because something must have just came up. Let me refresh this. Let's see. I don't see anything right now. Let me go to my other. Give me a sec, folks. I just want to make sure I can give you that because that's some strong selling coming in here. Let's see if there's something that I didn't see. I see something about ECB. Oh, I think that might be it. It says ECB raises rates 25 bips. Nope, wait a minute. Trump's talking. Trump's talking. Here we go. Trump. The U.S. will be hitting Iran very hard tonight. All right, crude is now up. All right, look, the U.S. will be hitting Iran very hard tonight. We'll be taking Kharg Island at some point soon. U.S. will be taking oil infrastructure points. Trump will assume total control of Iran oil and gas markets. There you go, folks. Sounds like a peace deal happening. I don't know. Crude just jumped. It was just at 89. It's already almost at 91. Not gonna lie, I put a trade on with crude yesterday. Uh, it was up yesterday because we went $93 a barrel. Let's see if this can juice the market again. I don't know. All right. Let's get back to the market internals. Like I said, a little less reliable. You can see how strong. This is a very strong reading in a normal market that I would not short. I would not short this. But in this volatile market, I understand. Like I've had experience now to go. All right, I know when we're this volatile, I can't really rely on my internals. I have to look at structure, price. Okay, so basically yesterday I said this is the most traded price of the month and the week-to-date anchor VWAP. When the Nasdaq failed here and swept the overnight highs right there, so did the ES sweep the overnight highs. I said, okay, I think this is a sell the pop market. Let me try my short again. And I would have been, I mean, I was short at 70, I think 97, 73, 97, I think, or 94, one of those. And man, I said when I was in my trade, I hit my target. I was like, I know I probably could have held that. And boy, that would have been a trade. It would have been a trade. Okay. So let's dailies. Dailies. Okay. All right. So there's that support level, right? That 731s. We closed below that yesterday. Look, we almost took out the previous day's lows. Okay, where are we at now? 728, 728. We're right here. We're at the lower third of yesterday. Okay, the lower third. And look where resistance was again. Friday's close, that hot pink line. Expected move to the downside is 713. Do we make it there? I don't know. And that's also a prior monthly low. Okay, we'll have to see. This market's not liking what Trump's saying. Okay, it's not surprising. Futures. Futures. All right. So right now, look what we did. Yesterday, no, today, we hit the 50-day moving average on futures. Now you have to have this contract put in. You have to do /ESM26. If you don't have that, you're not going to see the 50 moving average. Okay, but it hit it. There's last month's lows. Remember the 7,200. I feel like we're going to hit that eventually. We almost went down there. I feel like we have a date with that level. We'll have to see. I don't know. I mean, I can only tell you what I'm seeing, all right? Qs. Losing some steam lately. Now look what happened. Came back into last week's range. Tried to push above into last week's close. And then boom, closed at the lows basically. Okay, where are we now? We're at 699.70s. So see how relatively stronger it was. We're at the midpoint. We're on the midpoint of yesterday. Okay, midpoint. Now futures. Remember, we got that daily demand down here. Futures, see, we didn't hit the 50-day moving average yet in NASDAQ. Okay, but look, lower high, lower high, lower high. And we're battling last week's lows right now. Right now, we're right at last week's lows. Okay? The more we just find acceptance down here, we're probably going to find our way down here. Okay? Unless some type of magical peace deal is made, I think we have a date set down here. Okay? Around the 280s. Okay? You got daily demand. I think this is a pretty big one. 50-day moving averages here. You got a lot of confluence. Okay? Moving on. Hourlies. Hourlies. Let's look at this together. All right. Boom. All right. We're going to talk about these hourly charts here. Let me get my marker out here. Let me just load it up. Alrighty. Let's do it. So we are in why is this not working? Okay. So this is this last little selling. You have a supply zone here, right? Came up to an equal high. Couldn't break it, right? So in demand, getting a little love. Well, little love, right? A little wick, right? But you kind of have, I mean, if this is a main downtrend, right? You kind of have that going, right? So we'll see. Now we did break this low, came into a major demand zone, popped up, and I just feel like this market's gonna keep going down. Okay, you can't keep saying we're hitting them hard. And crude, what's crude at now? 90.61. Okay, I don't know. We'll have to see. Now, is this the best structure? Not the best. It's not the worst. But this, I could see how we moved up, moved down swiftly. Well, we took that back, which is understandable. Now, can we take this back? Maybe. It's a wild market. Okay, wild market. Okay. Now, this anchored VWAP, this blue, that's from the highs, the all-time highs. Okay, I have that. Now, I could throw an anchored VWAP from this low. Okay, this market is nuts. All right, that's pretty strong selling. Okay, we're negative gamma, so expect wild swings. Okay, so really important to look at that swing low. I think we might have a date with 7,200. Not really sure. Just throw volume profile from this drop. Let's just do it from here. Okay, so here's value area, right? We're below value area right now. So you have the volume a little lower down here. You have a big pivot level here around the 70, what is that? 73.47s. Okay, a little bit of a pivot. It's not the best level. Okay, but there's just a chunk of volume here, right? And if we zoom in, hello, why is it not giving me, why is that not giving me a shot to move it? Oh, here we go. Let's just move it from this level. That's a lot of volume. Woof. Woof. And even here, that's why I said it's not the worst. So, not many insights with that. This is like, what is going on here? I just upgraded this, and I'm noticing volume profile is a little wacky. It's literally not letting me select it. That is annoying. It's still not letting me select it. That is not normal. There we go. That is not normal. I have to talk to support about that. All right, look at the NASDAQ here. Here's your NASDAQ. Now you made a higher low here. Came down, boop, made a higher low. All right, got this main downtrend line. Got another one here. Okay, came into demand. Like I said, I think we have a date with the 280s down below. If we zoom out, remember I said poor structure is down below. Okay, you do have a demand here, but this right here, my friends, I think needs to be taken out. Okay, then you have a daily demand. Daily demand about 27964. I think that's probably where we stop if we roll through these lows. Okay, but you never know with this market. Okay, trend is down right now. So we have to see. See, crude is pushing. Can it get back over to $93 a barrel? I don't know. We're at the most traded price of the month in the week in the crude. I'll show you that chart in a second. But this is continuing to fall. Probably crude's going to keep pumping. Okay? Woof, you just broke this demand zone. Okay? And you're going to, I put an anchor VWAP right here. You're about to test that anchor VWAP from these buyers. Take that out. All these buyers are underwater. All right? That is your hourly charts. Okay, look at that. We're taking out this demand zone. Trump probably said even more, or it just says bombing happening. All right, we're going to move on to the market profile and buying profile. Just get a nice look at this chart here. Here's your ES. Well, let's just look at crude. How I look at crude, same way. So here's crude's overnight activity. Notice we're in ultimate balance in crude. I knew I had this spread on. I knew that I was going to battle that, but you see it went all the way up to 93. Now, if you start to take out this ultimate balance again, this could really run. Okay, but crude, now look, you have like a bullish engulfing session here. All you need is to get over this month-to-date anchor VWAP, the ultimate balance level, and that level is around 91.30. You need to get over 91.30 and hold it. If you do, crude could really rip if this continued bombing is happening. And okay, so that's crude. I could even break it out to show you what the price action's been. Look at that last pump up from this news. Boom, right? You're taking out a lot of shorts here. We're at ultimate balance, so you have to get through that level, okay? Let's go to ES. ES, all right? Let's break out this session now. And we're going to get into the long and short trade scenarios in your ES. Let's do it. Okay, so yesterday, we had an inside day because that session was a friggin' monster. Up there, up here, then the session was inside. You never took out the low or the high previous day. You did in the overnights, right? You swept these two lows, okay? Generally, you're going to probably have higher prices from those levels. You did. You did. Now, where did you come to in the overnight? The 50% retracement of yesterday's move. Now you have a demand that's blown out, right? Took out that demand zone now. Okay. So let's get into it. All right. Now, again, I believe it's short to pop regime. Okay. So we're going to talk about shorts. So we just came out of the midpoint, the overnight highs, right? Supply. And you notice the overnight VPOC was right here. So what does that mean, people? That shows people's behavior. The most traded price was up at the top of the range. You know, they're majority of longs. Now they're getting destroyed with that little news, right? So what am I going to look for? Well, a pullback. So right here, what I would like to see is a pullback. Maybe back to yesterday's most traded price, 73.20s, or this supply where the overnight BPOC is. Okay, now you can get into the supply, get rejection. This is a really tiny one, so let me just give you the level. That is 73.31 to 73.38. Very small, 7 points. That's very small for this market. Okay, so you could get resistance there, right? Come down to 73.20s. Maybe put in another lower high, short that puppy. Now you have a bullish value gap here. That's poor structure. And then I can say, woo, make your way down to the overnight lows, 72.32s. Okay. Now, what could also happen, right? We could also push up. This is also a bullish imbalance to the profile in the overnight. So what does that mean? It needs to be corrected. So if you came up here and went boop, put a wick in, right? But then we swept it. You closed back inside the overnight range. Put in a lower high, short that as well. Target 72.32. Okay? It's really what I like. Above this overnight high, is there shorts to be had? Possibly. Possibly. But it's the 50% retracement of yesterday. I like the shorts there better than if we go up higher. Okay? Now, longs. What do I want to see from a long? Okay? Well, I know we swept these two levels, right? We actually swept prior day's lows, the overnight lows. So this could be a pullback to buy. Granted, internally, like I said, they're a little less reliable, but as long as I have them hot off the open, you can ride along. So if we drop, right, into this bullish FEG, which would also be the close from yesterday, okay, and we find support, boop, higher low. You target overnight highs, 73.38s. Want to hold a runner, see if we find acceptance, and ooh boy, try to hit the 74.02s. Okay, if you get a deeper pullback into this demand zone, okay, that's an overlapping demand zone. You have a major demand zone from 72.44 to 72.23. You have another demand zone, not as major, but 72.63 to 72.32. Okay, any support in there. So if we drive, and I want this to be quick, we drive down here. We don't even touch the overnight lows. You got a V bottom, lower high, you target the 73.38s, that overnight high. Okay? Even a sweepy, right? You come down here quickly, and I want it just quick. Come down, take out the 72.32, boom. Maybe even you take out that demand, but guess what? You get some buying come in, you get a lower high, you ride that puppy up to 73.38. Now, what is another alternative long? Okay, I'm giving you a lot here. If the market just rips up, breaks the overnight highs, and starts to find acceptance, and you're accepting price, well, right, and let's say you're building volume at the top of the session and you get one pullback, you get a long in there, and then you target the yesterday's highs, 74.04s. Okay, that's a lot of longs I just gave you. Now, I'm going to try to get this NASDAQ out for you guys as well. Let's look at the NASDAQ together. Let's get right into scenarios here. We're going to break the session out. Okay, here we are. Now, let's take out this demand because that's what the market did. Okay, we also, have a level here. All right, I'm going to put a composite high volume node here because the 24-hour chart has the most traded price of the week right there. Because look where that lines up, folks. It gives us a nice setup. Okay? So again, what am I going to start with? Now, had an inside day as well, but notice the overnight lows did not take out the prior day's lows. It did sweep yesterday's lows. Okay? So, shorties, let's talk about it. Okay? Beautiful level here. Now, again, the market tried to go long. There's buyers up here, right? At 2889s was the most traded price of the overnights. Well, heavily. It's not the most traded price, but it's heavily traded, right? Well, we failed right at the most traded price of the 24-hour week. Okay? So, what I like to see. Now, there's a supply zone here now with that. There's going to be one. All right? So, if you push up into that 289s, right? If you cannot find acceptance over the 289s and you come back through it, retest 289s, and the market is not showing you too much trend, you're going to short that. Okay? Where are you going to target? I would say yesterday's lows, 28431s. Then you go for the overnight lows, 28264s. Remember I said I think we have a date with 280s. There's that daily demand zone right there. Okay? Now, I don't know if we fall out of bed totally today. I don't know. Okay? So that's what I like. 289s is a very crucial level. It's also around the 50% retracement of yesterday. Okay? That's probably the short that I like for right now, pre-market. Longs. All right? The long. Give me 1 second, folks. So the longs. Same thing. Number one, 289s, right? Drive up, break the overnight highs. Do not chase this and find acceptance. Retest 289s, go long, target the most traded price of the month around the 29230s. And yesterday's highs, 29251s. Okay? Second one, pull back. You have a bullish FEG here, down below. That is from 28549s to 28447. Okay? And a demand below that. Any support in there with the market not being that weak, I want this quick. I want this to come in here, boop, come in, you go long. Okay? Any support in FEG is a long. Okay? Now, if we come down into demand, right? It could be a long as well. Now, that demand zone is from 28469 to 28264. So, any support in there, feel free to go long and target those overnight highs, 28935s. Okay? And now, we got to talk about the sweepy. If this happens really quickly, right? You break the overnight lows, 28264s, and break the previous days, not the previous days, a couple days ago's lows, 28227s. Boom, hitting that demand. Come back into the overnight range with a higher low. You go long. You target the 289s. Okay? That's it for me, folks. Let me give you my overall outlook on the market real quick before I get out of here. So, the regime we're in is sell the pops. Market is very volatile. We're in negative gamma. Large swings. Lean on structure of the market. Okay? Your crucial level today is the 733 Here's the 50% retracement of yesterday's range is the overnight highs. Look at that like a little mini bull bear line, okay, in your ES. We have Middle East tensions. All right, NASDAQ, your crucial level is the 289s. The 24-hour rolling week most traded price of the week, 289s. Acceptance above it, you possibly can get a long. Acceptance below it, possibly the short, right? That's a crucial level. Okay? Be patient. Be patient. All right? Smash the like button if you enjoyed my content. That'd be much appreciated. Now, as always, join me every morning. Give me the market story, the economic calendar, market news. And yeah, join me every morning. All right? I just gave you the long and short trade scenarios in the Nasdaq and East futures. And as always, if you want any more in-depth coverage, go to my Discord, my YouTube homepage, click on the link, sign up. What are you waiting for? Confluence Trading. Let me be your indicator. All right, everybody, have our plans, have our process. Remember, no trades to trade. If I don't see you in my Discord, I'll see everybody tomorrow morning.